You dig it. Coach it.
I can dig it. We're back for another Wildcard Wednesday.
Is it wild? Is it the wild, wild west out there?
Still feels like Tuesday. But
out there in Glenview.
Correct. Which is where I'm at, just about 10 minutes from Arlington Park, or the future home of the Bears.
So, I doubt it's 10 minutes. I don't think it's
10 minutes maybe if you drive.
15 or 20 minutes from my house. I feel like I'm closer.
I'm straight down Euclid, man. Straight shot.
You're not going to be there that long anyways. You live the nomad life.
I have. Sometimes it's my choice. Sometimes it's my choice. Sometimes not my choice. But it's all good. So
that is true. But
back
it
to the
all
channel.
works out.
Right. Thanks for checking out the channel.
Thanks. You're
hanging
welcome.
out once again on a Wildcard Wednesday.
It's hard to.
A lot to talk about. Don't you think?
Hard to hang out with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you want to start tonight?
Let's talk. Let's first start off with the Bears.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Bears.
I know Bears. I mean,
Bears.
I think most people are excited about them coming up. I definitely am. We're gonna hang out Sunday, watch some Bears game. Hope our fantasy teams do good.
That's correct.
Maybe Carl's team will show up CBS Sportsline and do better than last in the draft.
It's merely opinion, strictly opinion.
It is, man. So, one of the things that I thought was cool to see, and I think we knew this. Whoa, my cats are going nuts, man.
Your cats.
Did you hear that?
Cat, yeah, I can hear it. Everybody heard it. Cat's gonna make a special guest appearance throughout the show.
Oh, yeah, they're going at it like cats and dogs, but two cats. Woof. All right, so the Bears are
We're off to a great start tonight.
They're not rotating. Hey, it's getting close to Halloween, slightish. Hey, the Bears are not rotating their captains like they did last year. One.
Correct.
Okay. What do you think about that, first of all?
I think it's great.
Oh,
I think you have consistency.
Yeah. And we did see that we have Justin Fields. I think good choice. And the Bears players voted on this, as well as Roquan, which goes, to tell you that the players on that team completely support Roquan.
And
it
proves it wasn't a distraction.
Correct. You're absolutely right. You were right on that one. I was worried. Not like your Lonzo Ball prediction. Offensive lineman Cody Whitehair and defensive end Robert Quinn. So
any surprises with you?
Maybe Cody Whitehair. I don't necessarily know him as being a leader of that team, but obviously his teammates think of him that way.
Mm-hmm.
Unless honestly, I don't know if they choose two offensive and two defensive captains. Is that always the case?
Usually it's like one offensive, one defensive, one special teams, and then some teams have 4, some teams have 5, so they might go like 2 offense, 2 defense, 1 special teams, something like that.
Yeah, so Cody Whitehair would be the only guy that I'd be kind of surprised at. I think the other 3 make sense. You've got your 2 stars of your defense right now in Roquan and Robert Quinn. Justin Fields, I think, has made himself a captain just by his the way he trains and the way he's been inviting people to train with him. I think he's kind of a strong leader.
I would agree with that.
But I don't know about Cody Whitehair. You?
I think if look, Cody Whitehair was the one consistent guy all training camp, and you never heard anything good or bad. Like you never heard anything bad, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And he wasn't hurt. He played through it. He wasn't like he was the one starter that seemed to be there the entire time, right? There were some questions about Braxton Jones, whether he was going to start. Larry Borum and Tevin Jenkins, those really didn't get solidified until like about 2 weeks ago, right? But Cody Whitehair was always going to be slated for that left guard spot. Now, I do think if Patrick had been able to practice and train without an injury the entire training camp, maybe he might have been named a captain. But I have no problems with the ones that the team voted on.
Okay. What did you think about the injury report?
Only 2 players.
Yeah, I only see one right now on the Chicago Bears site.
Yeah, the Bears injury report had only 2 players on it. It's literally
Velus
Jones and Dominique Robinson.
Yeah, but for some reason it's not on the Chicago Bears.
You have to
website.
change. I'm on the Chicago Bears website. You got to go to week 1. You got to click on week 1 on that little drop down.
I literally thought I was on week 1, honestly.
Oh, you're on the ESPN site.
That's why. All right. Well, hey, ESPN doesn't have it updated. But did anything shock you?
I didn't know Dominique Robinson had a knee issue, but he did practice. But Velus Jones says hamstring, and he did not practice.
Correct.
Today.
Dominique Robinson's been questionable since August 27th, by the way.
I think if Velus doesn't practice by Friday, I don't think he's playing this week. I think he's going to be inactive.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing at all, personally.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I heard on talk radio today was about Patrick's cast on his hand. He's not on the injury list, so is it possible that he moves to a guard spot?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Do you think he talked that they asked him a question about, have you actually snapped the ball with a cast on your hand? And he didn't answer the question. Like, I don't even know if he's practiced snapping the ball with, whatever kind of protective gear he has on that hand.
Eberflus doesn't come off to me anyway, and I don't think it will be a great start to his regime if we release the depth chart with Patrick at center and then at the last second switched him over to guard. I don't think he would have put that out, or he would have listed him at center if he didn't think he was going to start at center this week.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that either. But that is kind of scary to have some guy that never snapped the ball with a cast on his hand. He's going to do it maybe a couple times before the first game, and hopefully he's in game shape. And does he know the playbook and working with those guys well enough to be just thrown out there in this first week? I would feel more comfortable that he sits, practices, and waits till the next week.
Well, he came from Green Bay with Getsy.
I know, but do you think Getsy is all the same plays from Green Bay?
The terminology is the same.
The terminology I get, but
the terminology, all he's got to worry about, all he's got to worry about is the line calls, the line protection, and whether it's the run or pass. That's all he's got to worry about.
Well, that takes muscle memory too, man. I agree with you to a certain extent, but like, really, maybe he's practiced a little bit more with that cast on that we don't know.
Well, look, it's not like he hasn't been with the team, right? I mean, he just hasn't been able to practice, right? So he sees the playbook that they're running. He sees the calls that they're making.
I'm assuming he's doing walkthroughs.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's watched the tape, right? And so, I don't think that Getsy would have thrown him out there if he did feel like he was going to be productive.
So, seeing that they want to put Patrick out there, if he actually starts, what does that tell you about who might be the best person on that line?
Well,
who do you think they value the most?
Well, look, any offensive line, the guy you're valuing the most is left tackle. And not the center and the left tackle, right? I mean, the center's got to protect the blind side of Justin Fields. The center's got to make the line calls, right? I don't know if it's necessarily one more important than the other, the center's definitely got to, not only be able to physically perform, but be on top of his game mentally, because he's got to be able to make the right adjustments at the line, call the blitzes, call the linebackers, call the Sam, call the Will, all of that stuff.
Now,
right?
how do you do that? How do you prepare yourself mentally?
It's very tough, specifically for the show, because I don't know what curveballs you're going to throw me every single time we do this. So,
well, you would strike out anyway, so that's okay.
Hey,
so did you hear about the Bears bringing in different grass?
at Matt Eberflus' request.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people were stoked about it. And in fact, remember how we were giving the Bears a hard time? Actually, a lot of people, and it was in the national media about the turf. We didn't hear a lot from the players verbally, I don't think. But Komet was interviewed talking about how bad it was that game and how excited he was of the turf they were getting, that he would only have to possibly bring out 1 or 2 pairs of cleats. In a normal game at Soldier Field, because of the conditions of the field, he would say he needs 5 to 6 different types of cleats just to prepare. That's crazy.
That's true of every football team. That's a little bit overrated statement.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Every player brings different. Well, I shouldn't say they basically wear the same type cleat. They have to have the different size studs depending on the condition of the field, right? So,
Well,
like
maybe that's more so, but that's probably more so for like high school fields. More. I mean, do you really think all those fields have that poor of condition where they have to manage between 5 and 6?
It totally depends on the weather that day.
Well, I get the weather, but he's strictly talking about the condition of the field, without weather, I assume.
All
right, I'll take your word for it.
It doesn't surprise me. Let's put it that way.
This is brought to you by Sprite.
Here we go. So look, let's be honest. At this point, the Bears could ask for anything, and the Park District and Lightfoot's going to give them whatever they want to show them how much they want them to stay in the city.
Okay.
You know, you could ask for that field to be resetted every single week, and they'll do it, which is stupid, but they'll do it.
It's not going to make any difference whatsoever.
Did you hear the
this
stupid
train
comment?
Is riding.
Did you see the stupid comment that Keyshawn Johnson made on his radio show this morning?
I did not. Tell me about it.
He basically said, "Why on earth would you put a dome over your stadium in Chicago? That's the only that's your home field advantage." He's like, "Your team sucks right now, and the only advantage you have right now is that Chicago weather. So why on earth would you put a dome over that field and take away that home field advantage?" That was the most craziest and asinine statement I think I've ever heard.
Hey, Jim.
On a radio. What's going on, Jim? Thanks for checking in tonight.
Yeah.
Look, the team isn't going to suck forever, right? And the team might even play better under a dome, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll actually have a decent offensive game not playing in that inclement weather.
Correct. You don't have to worry about focusing on the run all the time. Actually get a quarterback that can throw in December.
Hey, and you might be packing a stadium a lot more than you were before, making more money, putting more into the team. I mean, that's the whole idea of it. It's not just about this perceived field benefit from cold weather. It makes no sense.
Storm, what's going on, brother? Look, I mean, it's just everyone. I still don't get all the hate from the national media. I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, hopefully we prove them wrong and we come out with a win first game.
Do you feel like the team's kind of embracing like this underdog role?
What I know is I heard that they're bouncing around the room with excitement about this coming game because, even though, I think most offenses haven't shown their full playbook, they're excited to open up their playbook and run. I'm talking about like run, like
Run different plays.
Well, speed. I mean, Eberflus keeps on saying we're going to be speedy. We're going to show our speed. So let's see it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I don't know how
How
you're
many
going to do
days?
it with Aquaman or Darnell.
Never know, right? Yeah, Jim. Look, I think we're all just waiting to see, right? You got to take what do they say? Take the cover off the whole thing, right? Money line plus 265. You know what? I'd be willing to put $10 on that.
I would too.
You know, I'd be willing to put some money on that. I didn't see the line.
I think the odds are better for the Bears to win this game than the 49ers based on just Trey Lance in general. I don't think he's going to be all right. $50.
It's going to pay a pretty penny, Storm, when that comes in. So
I know.
All right. So one bold prediction from you for Sunday.
Bold prediction. The defense is going to have 2 picks.
2 picks.
2 picks.
You want to go even further and see who's gonna come up with those picks?
Let's say one of the rookies. I'm not going to say who because most likely, I think it would be Brisker. But one of the rookies.
Which means
either Brisker or Gordon, and then I'm going to say Eddie Jackson.
Oh, Bojack going to make an appearance, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your bold prediction?
Justin Fields will account for 3 total touchdowns. I think he's going to throw for 2 and run for 1.
I agree with that because I said the Bears are going to win 21-17, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Do you want to reassess that based on your score?
No, I think he's gonna. He's gonna throw one to Komet. And I think maybe
that'll be one more than last year.
Well, he'll throw one to Komet, and
it's fast.
Maybe a running back. Maybe he'll throw one to Herbert out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get one.
And I think Montgomery's gonna have a rushing touchdown too. So I said 31 points for the Bears this week.
No way is that happening.
31 points?
It's not happening. 31 points. Nope.
Okay.
I think 21's even stretching it, honestly, on this first game. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like Iowa versus South Dakota State.
5-3.
Yeah.
Joe, what's going on, brother? No, Joe, come on.
13 tops. Are they winning? Are they winning the game?
Joe, is that because you don't trust the offense or because San Francisco's defense that good?
7-5, man. Baseball score.
Storm, is that the odds that you're putting out there? 7-5? Is that what you're putting out there? Look, I have faith in this offense, and I think that they're going to light it up. So I don't have. San Francisco D is good, man. I don't have faith in it until I start seeing progress. I mean, we did see progress this last game. 1 out of 3 preseason games, we saw a good offense. So are we going to see it against the starters like regularly against like the other starting defensive people? So we'll see, buddy. I didn't check the San Francisco. Let me check the San Francisco injury report. Let's see what they come up with.
Hey, talk about some Sox real quick here. Sox won 9-6.
We're doing that because Joe is here. So yeah, look, they had a big comeback today. They were down 4-0 to start the game. Kopech came off the injured list today to start the game. They rallied late. I think Seattle tied it in the 7th or 8th. I think it was the 7th, and then we pulled ahead with a couple runs in the 8th and 9th.
Yeah, and then Minnesota lost their first game.
And they're playing the Yankees right now. So I think that us trying to get hopefully, look, everybody losing 4-1 in the 6th. Cleveland's up 1-0. So if these scores hold, we'll still be 3 out, but at least we'll be tied with Minnesota for second. And then we play Oakland this weekend, and then the Twins and the Guardians. Sorry, Twins and Guardians play each other this week. No, Jim, nothing's off topic. It's Wildcard Wednesday. We should talk about whatever we want. So,
Okay, so Jim, I did not hear about Carmelo. I just heard a new report again about Lonzo. Melo, let's see. Could we use another shooter? Yes, I would take a flyer on Melo.
Well,
I disagree with Storm.
Jim, the only question I would have is where would you play him? Like what? Like if he's going to play, you're taking minutes away from someone.
DJJ
So you would
or
take minutes
or
from. You would
or
take a.
Javante. I'm trying to think of a guy that he would take minutes from. It wouldn't be DJJ. DJJ can't shoot.
He's on the depth chart as the second lineup, I think. So, yeah, it would either have to be Derek Jones Jr. or Javante, right?
Yeah, I agree. But he's not. How many minutes would he get? He would be, he would be that hot guy shooting.
Well, look, kind of to Storm's point here, right? I mean, you would be bringing him strictly for offense.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah, and they may need it.
Yeah,
I still think that second unit is not good enough to score. I mean, like I don't know how. I mean, they're gonna. Donovan's gonna have to be really good about leaving certain guys in there at all times with that second unit.
Do you think that it's dependent on who starts? Like you brought it up. You would rather have Dragic come off the bench to solidify some offense for that second team and start IO or AC. Right?
Yes, and I've also talked about P-Dubs starting that second lineup.
So then if you do that, then do you bring in Melo and start Melo?
Why not?
Right?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know. The Bulls offense in that second unit scares me. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, when we had Caruso and Lonzo, their defense was good, but their offense was atrocious.
By the way, San Francisco has 0 people on their injury report this week. Everyone's healthy, so
hey, it'll be a good indication of how we're going to be.
Storm, this is what Vic is saying. Vic's been saying, like, put Patrick Williams on the second line, have Patrick Williams come off the bench. So that would leave a spot open in the starting lineup, which means then if you were to bring in Melo, potentially you could start him. And then that would leave you potentially Dragic and Patrick Williams with that second team for offense, right?
Yeah, I agree with Storm too. Caruso 0 offensively. Now I'm wondering what Joe means with one of our young forwards. Are you talking about Dalen Terry? He's more of a shooting guard. Point guard.
But you said that you didn't think he was going to play much.
I don't. But I'm just trying to think, what young forwards are we talking about? Are we talking about the other guy got hurt? Why can't I think of his name? Busted his knee. Williams. Yeah, Williams, man. I mean, Williams needs to be a 14-7 guy at least next year for the Bulls to be successful.
Doesn't matter if it's coming. It doesn't matter if we're starting or coming off the bench.
I don't know. No, definitely not. I think he actually could do better on the second unit. I think he's still gonna defer to Zach and DeMar and Vooch in that first unit, and I think he would be better off in that second unit. But just opinion.
That's why you don't coach the Bulls.
Well, maybe if I.
That's why I don't coach the Bulls either.
And we really don't know. We really don't know the whole story with Lonzo. So, like when Jim's talks about Melo coming in, maybe they know some bigger details about their knee. I mean, when we interviewed Chuck Swirsky, he couldn't confirm the news that Lonzo was not going to be available for the beginning of the season and training camp. But we did get a report from Daniel Greenberg today that kind of confirmed the report from the national media that indeed he was not going to be ready. He was being brought into Chicago to get further testing on his knee.
But still hasn't been confirmed by the Bulls.
It is not. It still has not. But Casey Johnson was saying that, if Daniel Greenberg is saying that he must have some good inside sources, not nationally but locally, to be saying that. So if that's the case, I don't see what's wrong about picking up Melo.
But isn't that why you picked up Dragic?
You did.
Right? I mean, we've already talked about it. You're not gonna replace the defense, obviously, of Lonzo, right? So look, here's a question for all you guys here, right? And Jim, thanks for this, kind of bringing this up. I think you put us on a good topic here, right? With Donovan Mitchell now coming to Cleveland,
I had the sock stuff up that whole time, man.
With Donovan Mitchell going to Cleveland, with Detroit kind of retooling and got a lot of good young talent there, the East just kind of overloaded. Do you kind of just give up the defense and just try to outscore everybody at this point? Because all these teams are stacked and loaded.
They are. And I mean, Donovan wants to get up and run, but he wants it to preface it off the defense and getting steals and getting fast break points. Our defense is good. Our defense is not good enough to do that. At least it remains to be seen that. And our rebounding was horrendous last year. So hopefully one thing that the Bulls did was solidify some of the rebounding. Maybe not the around the basket defense, but the rebounding is going to be significantly better.
Oh, look, I would love, we've talked about this before. I love the Warriors, right? I wouldn't mind taking the Warriors approach. They don't have a whole lot of big guys, right? They just try to get up and down. They try to score as many points as possible. They play decent defense, not great defense.
No, but they move their feet better than the Bulls guys do.
Yeah, but look.
They play good team defense.
Agreed. Atlanta with DeJounte Murray going down there with John Collins and Trae Young, they're going to be tough.
It's going to be fun.
Cleveland is now, right? Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Philadelphia.
I still think we're better than Miami.
Orlando's got a pretty good young core that is starting to, kind of develop, right?
Yeah. Wagner's a good player.
Every game in the East, every night is going to be tough.
If the Bulls can get to the 4th or 5th seed, I would consider that good this year. And that also means if they get to the 4th and 5th seed this year, that they probably have a good chance of beating any one of those teams. I think there's a lot of parity in the East, but it's a tough.
Yeah, Joe, I kind of agree with that, right? I mean, Melo is really going to be more of a spot
isolation,
guy. Isolation, spot up.
That's
right.
Well, what did we scream at all last year too? Right? You are right, Joe.
Yeah.
Going back in my mind, you're right, guys. Melo is not a good choice. We stood around way too much watching DeMar shoot the ball and in isolation. And as DeMar got better, he did it more. We weren't cutting to the basket. We weren't passing the ball enough times. And we need to see that. And what was cool about the end of the season was we were seeing that at the very tail end with Patrick Williams driving to the basket, Javante and Alex Caruso were back, and they were making good back cuts to the basket, and we were passing the ball better. But before that, the 4 months before that was atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, and those of you that saw our interview with Chuck Swirsky, Rio's play-by-play guy, he brought it up in the fact that, this team has kind of bought in, right? And that they've kind of, while they all have egos, they've kind of checked their egos at the door, and they're really kind of playing for each other, right? We thought for a while, is Zach going to have a problem with DeMar kind of taking this lead? I don't think DeMar's going to have any issue with Zach being hopefully healthy with Zach coming in this year and taking over the reins and taking over majority of that scoring or taking a majority of that load, right? I don't think he's going to have any problem with that. But look, you're going to need both those guys to score over 20 every night, for sure. I mean,
I'm wondering, hey, yeah, talking about the Bears again, real quick. Sorry,
this is Wildcard Wednesday. We go all over the place.
Yeah, I'm curious with some people here what they thought of the Bears' plans for the Arlington Heights site. Just curious. I'm wondering if people have objections to those plans. Because you know what, we were talking, Carl and I, about some of the residential areas being kind of close to the south end of that plan, and but I think in that south end of the plan was more the entertainment center, where you would think
it's the east side of that plan.
It was the east side.
Yeah,
I swear it was the south side, man.
No, it's the east side.
All right, well, okay,
East
so
side,
west side. No, north side, man. I'm a north sider.
Joe and I are south siders.
Talking about the north side. The
south side.
The Cubs have a very exciting pitcher, Javier Assad, pitching tonight, by the way. Tax money, big tax money. Property taxes should go down for some of those Arlington Heights residents.
The only taxes they're going to pay are the property taxes when their property goes way through the roof.
Yeah, well, it should. I would think it's going to go up all around that surrounding area.
You think you'll get a bump?
I'm 15, 20 minutes, but you're the whole 10 minutes.
I am 10 minutes away.
10 minutes away. You could ride your bike down the block.
Joe, when you come out to the Bears game at Arlington Heights, you can park at my place, and we'll
I thought you were going to invite
we'll catch a ride
by you.
Yeah, listen, Joe, we got to catch a game soon. By the way, as long as the Sox are still in it, right? So,
well, I still don't think the Sox are going to win it. So,
the Storm, they're going to talk about this all tomorrow night, but like they've already said, they're not going to ask for any public money for the from the city or the state. They're going to privately fund the whole thing. I think the local residents are worried about their property taxes going up, a city tax potentially, so their cost of living is going to go up. You got to get some kind of buy-in for the local residents.
I don't know. Sometimes when there are buildings like that is going to bring 48,000 workers, a lot of revenue into that area. It's just like Elk Grove Village. They've got so much industry and so much getting money pumped in that the taxes are lower. It doesn't always raise your taxes.
Yeah, and plus, look, it's going to be an entertainment district, and like you said, additional 40,000 jobs. That's a heck of a lot of traffic going in and out down Euclid, down Northwest Highway, off of 53.
Yeah, but that's what we're worried about. I think that's what most people would be worried about is just the traffic in 355, 53 just being
congested,
plugged up.
Yeah, all the time. So,
yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in for Wildcard Wednesday. We were usually around 8:30. We try to do this every Wednesday. Joe, thanks for checking in tonight. And Jim, who was there, and also let's see, Storm. Yeah. So everybody, thanks for checking in tonight. We do appreciate it. We'll probably do a video sometime before the Bears game with our predictions for the Bears game.
Maybe, but we're definitely going to do a post game.
Yeah. So watch out for Twitter. Watch out for Facebook for the listings of when we'll be back.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
subscribe to us. Get on Twitter at Windy City Dig. Even if you don't have Twitter, join Twitter and comment on our stuff.
Tell your friends, call your sons, call your daughters, call your neighbors. Tell everyone to join us on the stream here on Windy City Digits. So thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. We do appreciate it. Vic's got to go get the boys. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Love.
And digits.